So we will start with pectoral region, beta. So before I take you to pectoral region, I'll show you. See, this is mammary gland. You can see the quadrants, and you can see like in the superolateral quadrant, you are finding there is an extension, isn't it? That is the axillary tail of Spence, and the opening is the foramen of Langer. Okay. So in breast, 4 quadrants we have seen. So upper medial, upper lateral, lower medial, lower lateral. Extent, relations, everything I told you. In fact, you can see muscles also here. This is pectoralis major. Here you have the external oblique aponeurosis. What is the name of this muscle? Serratus anterior. Okay, so this is all forming the mammary bed. Okay, so projection, nipple, parenchyma. See, this is beautiful picture you have. These are all, you are finding all lobes, 15 to 20 number. Inside you are finding alveoli, acini. All these are opening in the lactiferous duct. So 15 to 20 such ducts open in the nipple. Okay. Now this is SAL code I said, superior thoracic, acromiothoracic, lateral thoracic. Okay, all these are the branches of axillary artery. This is internal mammary or the internal thoracic artery through its perforating branches, and posterior intercostal arteries are these. Okay, so these lymph nodes also I will discuss again when we are doing lymphatic axillary group of lymph nodes. Now see, 75% of the lymph from the mammary gland is draining into axillary. 20% will drain into internal mammary group of lymph nodes. 5% will drain into posterior intercostal. So this is internal mammary, 20%. Okay, like maximum is going, 75% is going where? Into the axillary. 5% is going into posterior intercostal. Posterior intercostal will be somewhere here, like corresponding to the name of artery. Here you can see posterior intercostal arteries. Corresponding to the name of these arteries, you will find the lymphatic vessels, lymph nodes also there. So 5% of lymph will be going into posterior intercostal nodes. Okay. Now see, this is the subareolar plexus of Sapin. Just below the areola we will see development. So this picture is much better in fact. This is the mammary ridge or the milk line you can see, which is extending almost from the pubic arch to the axillary region. Only in the pectoral region it is developing into the mammary gland. Now see here, this picture is nice. So this is purely orange appearance, which we see in case of carcinomas and also in case of inflammation, if there is any infection. You can see the nipple is also retracted inside. Okay. Now I told you, see, this is like antero-inferior quadrant. So from here, this is the subhepatic plexus. Like you are finding, if there is like cancer in the mammary gland, from this area you will see the lymphatic vessels only will carry cancer cells. The cancer cells are now moving to the ovary. That means breast cancer can also spread to the ovary, leading to Krukenberg's tumor. Okay, and there may be connection of this mammary glands venous drainage to the, like see, it may be connected to like paravertebral venous plexus. From here, the again like cancer cells also spread via like veins also. So they now drain into the dural venous sinuses. That means cancer can also spread to the brain via this vertebral venous plexus of veins. Okay. Now pectoral muscle, like see, these are all very small things which you can also study. I'll make a fast review of all this. In the pectoral region, what do we have? We have pectoralis major muscle, below which we have pectoralis minor muscle, and then we have subclavius, and then lateral aspect we have serratus anterior, isn't it? So try to recollect from where the pectoralis major is coming. See, this is the clavicle, and like this is the convex part, isn't it? So the anterior part of the medial 2/3 of the clavicle, manubrium of the sternum bone, and also the body of the sternum bone. And also the aponeurosis of external oblique also will give origin to pectoralis major. That's how it has clavicular fibers, manubrial fibers, sternocostal fibers, and also aponeurotic fibers coming from external oblique aponeurosis. Okay, then coming to the insertion, you are finding, you remember lady between two majors. So we had pectoralis major and then we have teres major. So you will see, so where is this pectoralis major getting inserted? It is getting inserted into the lateral lip of the intertubercular sulcus at the bicipital groove, and you will see the insertion is like the posterior. See, these are the aponeurotic fibers and sternocostal fibers. They will come to make a posterior lamina. Clavicular and manubrial fibers, they will come to make the anterior lamina, like that. Okay, so there will be, see, try to go through this table. I'm just giving you a like rough idea, because muscles, okay, like medial and lateral. Okay, first we'll see the origin insertion. See, on this I told you already. Okay, so where is it getting inserted? Lateral lip of the bicipital groove. Okay, then after that we will see the pectoralis minor. So from where is it coming? Pectoralis minor. See, along, do you remember, we have also talked about this shorted of biceps brachiae. From where was it coming? Coracoid process. Now you can talk, no problem. I have on my video also. That is enough, in fact. Okay. Now see here. See, third, fourth, fifth. These are costochondral junctions. From here you can see the origin of pectoralis minor. And the pectoralis minor is getting inserted in the coracoid process. Just try to remember this picture. Both of them are supplied by same nerves, medial and lateral pectoral nerves. Okay. So pectoralis minor, origin third, fourth, fifth ribs near the costochondral junction and intervening fascia. You need not, just this is more important, and it is getting inserted in the coracoid process. Okay. So pectoralis major and minor, both of them are supplied by which nerves? Medial and lateral pectoral nerves. Okay. So what does pectoralis major do? It is bringing about adduction, and see, adduction is this, medial rotation is this. Okay. So it brings about adduction and medial rotation. Okay. So that is whole muscle. So clavicular part itself will bring about flexion. Then sternocostal part is bringing about extension. It is chiefly a climbing muscle. It also helps in inspiration. Pectoralis minor, it draws the scapula forwards. Okay, forwards is something like this. Okay, and it also depresses the point of this shoulder. Then let us see subclavius. Then let us see the origin insertion. It becomes easy. Now see here. Now this is the first like rib, isn't it? So this is the costochondral junction. That means this muscle subclavius is coming from the first rib. And if you remember the clavicle bone, I told you we have subclavian groove. And the subclavius muscle gets inserted in the subclavian groove. And it is supplied by nerve, is same name, nerve to subclavius. Okay. So origin first rib at costochondral junction, insertion is subclavian groove in middle 1/3 of clavicle. Subclavius is supplied by nerve to subclavius, which comes from upper trunk of brachial plexus. It steadies, that means it gives stability to the clavicle when we are doing shoulder joint movements. Okay. So these are the muscles which you should remember in pectoral region. Okay. Okay. Clavipectoral fascia and all I will discuss tomorrow. Okay. Or I will tell you now itself. Okay. So clavipectoral fascia is a fascia which is present below the pectoralis major. Now you have seen the layout. First muscle was pectoralis major. Once you cut the pectoralis major, below that you will see pectoralis minor. So covering the pectoralis minor, you are finding there is one green outline, that is nothing but clavipectoral fascia. If you remember, I told you the margins of the subclavian groove is giving attachment to clavipectoral fascia. So medially it is attached to the like ribs, costochondral junctions. Okay, inferiorly it is attached to the aponeurosis of the external oblique, and laterally it will be becoming continuous with the axillary fascia. Okay, so this is all clavipectoral fascia. In fact, this clavipectoral fascia, now see, this is mammary gland. We know this is the mammary bed. We know this is pectoralis major, we know this is pectoralis minor. Covering the pectoralis major is pectoral fascia. Covering the pectoralis minor, now see, suppose this is the clavicle bone and this is subclavius muscle. Obviously, the margins of subclavius is giving attachment to clavipectoral fascia. So this is the clavipectoral fascia which is splitting to enclose subclavius. It's coming down and it is also splitting to enclose the pectoralis minor. It's again fusing back and coming to become continuous with the axillary fascia. This is the axillary fascia. Dome of axillary fascia it is called. Now, clavipectoral fascia itself can be a 3 marks question or 5 marks question. We should know the attachments and what are the structures piercing the clavipectoral fascia. Now, from this picture, you can see like we have lateral pectoral nerve, we have thoracoacromial artery and cephalic vein. 1, 2, 3. Lateral pectoral nerve, okay, thoracoacromial artery and cephalic vein. These are piercing the clavipectoral fascia. Okay, so very, very important. Clavipectoral fascia, it is extending from the clavicle above to the axillary fascia below. Upper part is splitting to enclose two muscles. No, one is subclavius and lower down it splits to enclose pectoralis minor. So what are the structures pierced by it? Lateral pectoral nerve, cephalic vein and thoracoacromial artery. Deep to this you have seen lymphatics, apical group of lymph nodes. Now let us see serratus anterior. Now see here, serratus anterior is actually not the muscle of pectoral region because it is closely related to pectoral region. It is discussed here. You can see the serratus anterior is taking its origin from the middle 1/3 of the shafts of the ribs. From which rib to which rib? First to 8th rib. When I was discussing scapula bone, then also I told you it has 8 digitations. Okay, and where is it getting inserted? It is getting inserted on the medial border of the scapula bone, because I told you glenoid cavity, wherever you are finding glenoid cavity, that is lateral end. So this is medial. Okay, so the first digitation is getting inserted like from the superior angle to the root of the spine. Okay, this is the first digitation which comes here. Okay, then you will see the 2 digitations are coming from the root of the spine to the medial border. Okay, so in the lower, like inferior angle, you will see the 5 digitations are coming. Overall, it will have 8 digitations. 5 plus 2 plus 1. So it becomes 8. So 8 digitations are getting inserted in this way, serratus anterior. What is the nerve supply of serratus anterior? Long thoracic nerve. Okay, long thoracic nerve. So that's how, suppose any of this muscle can come as a 5 marks, like either pectoralis major or minor or subclavius or serratus anterior. Okay, it's also called as boxer's muscle. Okay, so it is arising how many digitations? 8 digitations from upper 8 ribs in the mid axillary plane. All 8 digitations pass backwards around the chest wall. Muscle is inserted in the costal surface of the scapula along its medial border. You have to talk about those 5, 1 plus 2 plus 5 digitations along the complete medial border. Nerve supply, nerve to serratus anterior, okay, which is coming from brachial plexus again. We will discuss in our brachial plexus class. What is the